So I can't hear anything. I don't know if anybody's there. I can't, so I can't hear. I don't know why. I've been trying, I thought it was on my end.
Library, trustee meeting.
311. All right,
Now
311.
I hear.
Okay.
Now I can hear.
We weren't close to the screen, sorry about
Do you want to do that, Ron, or do you want me to do it?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, so I called the meeting of the Library
Now
Board
I
of
have to.
Trustees on Thursday, May 8th. This is a hybrid meeting at Old Town Hall. The listing of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may be in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Members present, Ron?
Ron O'Connor.
Thank you.
Does he know we're looking at samples for that?
Ron, we're currently looking at carpet samples, so that's why you can't see anybody.
It should be noted that Ron joined the library building committee meeting about 12 after 3.
So I'm going to be muted because I'm driving. And so I'll just listen. I won't be able to vote.
Thank you.
Okay.
So was this the majority of the staff supports?
Yeah, because when I left,
Who was there with you?
Lori and, Laura,
Okay.
Lori likes color.
yeah. And, so we look like this one,
And just to be full disclosure, I said that I would not, to stand on my vote, I didn't want to take a side on the staff, whatever they did, I said, yes, so.
But I also know you that you don't.
or is it this
It's
one?
not
I
your-
did?
High on your list of talents.
No, we're doing it for you.
Yeah, I know,
Thank you, that's a good way to put it,
but
yes.
there was a reason they were picked because,
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah, so in the main hall, they went with, 209 midnight.
That's what you went with the main hall?
you know, that's that, this one.
That has blue and gray and
But I had another recommendation, Delma 208, Delma 208.
this one.
Yep.
Which one is that?
It is dark gray, light, and light gray.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Yeah, because the discussion
And this is the
was
main hall.
whatever they
Yeah.
choose to make sure that they kind of like all flow together and it's not patchwork.
Well, if you were gonna go with the blue, I would say this one. But if you're going to go with that wood smoke, this one,
That's kind of like.
Yeah, I think that's like, I think you could do the wood smoke.
is that,
This has a, this has got some wood in
let's
it.
bring it over.
This one's easier.
Yeah. Maybe not, no, it's too brown.
It's too brown.
It's too brown,
It goes great with the blue.
yeah. So that was their whole thought process.
So do we want a secret ballot on this?
What logo? The John Dyton logo?
I need to leave here with colors though.
Right, we can do that.
I think you said this,
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah.
this, yeah, I think would be kind of.
Hold one second, yes.
consideration.
I said I wasn't taking sides on staff and vote, so.
So these are for graduation, right? The entrance
I
way.
have many talents.
The other one that you just felt was the library itself, that one there. They're actually going with this one.
So for the, when you say the library, you don't mean the whole floor.
The floor, yes. Well, it's not the entire.
It's
floor, whatever the copy.
Right now, we're in the foyer, transition to main hall. And not, the whole main hall is not gonna be covered.
It's about 38% of the main hall area.
This would also be the carpet choice for the ramp.
Exactly. What about the craft room?
That's something, we're gonna get to that later.
That's not very
Upstairs.
We're gonna get to that later.
It'll be different. They're being jumped about. No, it's important to know context, yeah. So I'm going with blue personally, and that blue would be 37% of the light.
I feel like this would get worn really quickly, when I was just.
I don't know, it's pretty durable.
We actually have the same exact carpet downstairs in Old Town Hall. Sorry, in my offices in Old Town Hall. It wears like iron.
Really?
Yeah, it's tough.
Yes,
This is the same
It
material.
looks like it would give you a good enough burn.
This is-
Slid on.
Actually, that foyer as well is similar to this.
That makes a lot of weird too.
Yeah, that's true.
This is pretty tough.
Yeah, I like the two blues together better than, these are okay
This is,
together.
when this goes, that, this almost has like, different tones to it.
Yeah,
I don't like that one at all.
but I do like this.
Yeah,
It's the blue
This would,
and,
yeah,
and this.
when you just touched would be the hallway.
Yeah, so this would be the main area.
and this would also go
Blue
into
and
the
black.
teen room, right?
It would, if you so choose, yes.
Yeah, and I think,
Rather than having tea room have fuchsia or something. The fuchsia carpet.
right. I would keep it all as closely similar as you can, but not the same, because otherwise you end up with patches of
Little
different
boxes.
colors.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
It's probably cheaper if you have the same color. So, yes.
Yeah, I changed my vote to the blues. I just don't like them together.
No.
Well, this will be in the foyer,
Mm-hmm.
This will be as you walk.
and that would
through
be
the
as
door.
you walk through the door.
Mhm.
And then the wood would be where the steps are, correct?
Correct.
And this is a little more modern. The same old round that you see in the visual.
And we also took, I had a picture on my phone of the, wainscoting, where the wood color, so we kind of, you know, the picture's a little off, but so you can kind of see, yeah, yeah.
Well, that was easy.
So. Well, what's other people's, what's your,
Outside of that call, so what you might call it.
yeah, I'm not either, I'm monochromatic and I'm earth tone, but it's not my building, so. As a matter of fact, after this project's done, you'll probably see me a couple times a year, that's it, so.
Your library copy?
No. So I say whatever the majority of the committee comes up with is fine.
Is that a light color, this one?
No, the color they're picking, Jonathan, is almost like a dark sky color.
It has,
Grays and dark blue hues.
it has black, like navy and gray.
Yeah.
And maybe some light gray and darker.
Let me just ask a hypothetical, is it possible, and I know you think of wear and tear and mud and everything that you get on these carpets eventually, but what about a slightly lighter color, only so it inside doesn't, I'm just, sometimes dark colors, no matter what you do, can look dreary.
That is a very bright building though. There's a lot of glazing in the building, the wall is bright, the ceiling is very bright now that it's been redone. So the building screams brightness in its current status.
And that was one of the things that we talked about, during the bars.
Yeah.
Even with the scrims, it'd still be light.
It will light it, so you can.
Yeah. So, cause like anything like this, it was like 3 hours, you put it all the lights.
I think so.
Did they have any other choices besides the Delmar? And
For the main hall, it was between that midnight and Delmar, there was one other choice for foyer. 87700 for the foyer.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more of a brown.
Those are the three for the foyer.
Yeah.
Yep, there was just the two for the main hall. And the ramp.
I'm just afraid with those browns that it'll just like wash all the wood out too. You know, cause you have browns and you have woods.
Right, and this would complement,
I saw
the
something
blues would
walk by.
complement the wood as opposed to.
Yeah,
We might not want them in here.
watch me be seeing things, so there's a person out there, hi,
This is the Board of Health building.
yes, but it's downstairs.
Okay, so I go back?
Yeah, in the back.
Okay, thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
In a sense, it's then at the, over here to the foyer and the other book for libraries, what we should be going with.
Okay, so, Pat,
The
The blues?
Yeah, I think.
That would be, Luna Bay for the foyer. And
Midnight.
midnight for the main hall, that's what we're doing.
When I first looked at it, I was not a fan,
Either
you know,
together.
yeah,
00400. Correct.
Mhm.
00400.
Yep.
Laguna Bay.
Okay, and for the 38% of the main room,
209.
what's the name?
Midnight.
And the number?
209.
Will there be cleaners that come in every night to the library or vaccinated?
It all depends on what Ralph will allow us to spend.
Yeah, I'll be there with my dog.
How often?
Does that have a writing?
Right now.
No, but I should.
So Jonathan, right now, it's like
small space.
and yeah, I don't think we're doing any more than that every other. Once a week.
And I'm sure if something.
At some point, we'll be taking over the bills for cleans, at some point.
And then the teen room.
And if there's something silent.
Yeah.
Somebody get that.
Okay, so now you leave this carpeted area, you have the natural floor that's going to be stripped, sanded, refinished. And that will go the remainder of the main hall into the side entrance and into the fireplace room. So that will all be natural wood flooring. So now from there, I'd like to go to the ramp. The ramp is gonna be carpet tiles, or slated to be carpet tiles from the base of the ramp, transition between the natural wood floor and the base of the ramp, up into the entrance where the old door was to get into the program room. Is that still?
Yep.
Okay.
Staff suggested whatever goes to the main hall is also what's covered.
Mhm.
So that's also midnight. Yeah. Okay. So from there, I'm gonna continue into the program room. Right, the way we had it written, as discussed, it was all vinyl planking, just vinyl flooring, no carpeting in the break room, the program room, and the new storage closet. So that is this table.
Staff had one. Staff actually agreed on one particular planking.
Which was that?
It was barn oak planking, type steel
Yeah,
planking.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's barn oak planking, type steel.
Can you feel it? Here, over here. I have this right here.
These as wide as the things are?
No.
They actually wide.
Gonna be 6 or 8 inches. There's multiple sizes, but. Okay. Oh, shit. Yeah. It's a sample.
I like it.
Which one is it?
Barn oak.
The top left.
1361.
It will go well with the midnight.
All right, and that's in all the areas, including the break room?
Mhm.
All right. And can you name that off for me? Barn oak? Yeah, 1361 barn oak.
Okay.
So now, before we go into the other children's area, the 2 bathrooms. Well, actually, I'm sorry, let's talk about the children's area. What do you want to do in the children's area?
Staff had some thoughts. What they liked, seemed, I got two thoughts. Leaving it hardwood. And taking individual carpet squares, right ones, and just lay them down so people want to sit on the floor for story time, they grab a carpet square, sit down on the carpet square. The other suggestion was doing the same thing with the carpet squares, but going with gray slate 05214 for the floors instead of the hardwood.
The only thing I've got a question is,
The planting.
Planning, so, yeah. Yep, no, I'm just reporting what the stats.
so in the children's area.
Yep.
Does that include the room where the sink is and everything?
That's the program.
That's the barn that we just built.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say for the, well, I'm sorry. I didn't,
I'm just thinking for kids, if they have anything in there's green crash or spillage or anything like that. If there's carpeting in there.
right, so I guess the two suggestions were taking individual carpet mats, or the bright colors here. Having a pile, so kids wanna sit on the floor for story time, they got a carpet square, wanna sit down. Exactly, yes,
I was
Yes.
having taught
yes.
young kids and with toileting issues and all of that, rugs are a nightmare.
Yep, that was the consensus of the set.
Yes.
That was the consensus of the set.
Especially for story time.
Story time, yeah, we always have the one that, you know, either they're not trailer trained or they can't make it.
So the one thing that the set did, one thing that the set, there was slight, I guess not divergence, was either keeping the hardwood floors or doing gray slate 0514 for the floors instead of hardwood.
Hardwood floors.
I'd say go with hardwood floors.
I think it'd be cheaper too.
I said I would present every option that the staff presented to me, yeah.
Do we want the squares? Do we want to add squares then?
The carpet square, so we
So they can sit.
square.
Yeah, just loose squares from this.
And they can pick
The bright-
bright colors
Yep.
to go with the other bright things that are going to be in the children's room.
What do we want, like a dozen of those or something?
You can get like
Good set, yeah.
extra colors.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have to worry about those.
Yeah.
Yeah, she told me rainbow colors, she need that
Yeah.
every color possible.
Hold down the grays and the blacks.
Yeah, the rainbow
She means
colors.
all the pretty.
Don't leave that decision.
If that
As you
was-
said, I have other comments.
We're reading red, orange, green, blue, purple, camera black and red.
I was half listening to what you said. Are you gonna pick the squares for that one?
It's gonna be individual carpet squares, yeah.
What colors?
We're gonna like, those are the
What about the rainbow?
I'll avoid pick those.
And
She gave me direction rainbow color, which meant every color, yeah.
they probably come in a box. Yep. Which means there'll be a minimum amount of each in that box, so I'll find that out.
Yeah, and I'll get back to you for
And then if
specific colors.
that's too expensive, she might just buy primary colors.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we know that, okay.
All right, so knowing that, natural wood floor, just, and you'll probably love this, there'll be some Dutchmans in the floor, because there were some holes in the infill and stuff, so that'll all be there, okay? All right. The two restrooms, those need to have some type of flooring, that they, right now, they're, well, this flooring is in horrible condition, and this is plywood, so we need flooring material for those two.
The one I had written down was guard oak, that matches,
Just put
yeah.
right through.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the only suggestion I had there.
Okay.
Or the one suggestion they gave me for.
Perfect.
Thank you for putting these out.
And this would be the same thing too.
Well, that's up to Mark, that's up to Mark.
That was the suggestion they had, guard oak.
And you're all
And
assuming-
we're not gonna let that up, you know, he didn't know Wisconsin's.
Yeah, I can't, I mean, some things you can't even do. I am very open, you cannot do this, no.
What about those stairs that lead up to the children's area? Those need to be, those have to be done.
No, those are actually gonna be fur, those are going to be finished fur, similar to that wood over there.
Okay.
On the right. Yeah, so those will be stained,
Nice.
okay?
This makes it feel like it's gonna go.
I know.
Once things are happening.
But I mean,
makes it better, it feels like-
it's that
Well, I must admit, it was easier than I thought.
final touches.
So,
Thank you to match that floor, or
I'm sorry?
is the fourth floor going to be stained as well?
No, they're gonna be similar to the color they are now, which is what the original color was.
It is, sorry, what it is, so.
Yeah, it's similar to this. actually.
Similar, it's very similar to this.
Okay, let's get back to the meeting, so we have a few things here.
Thanks.
Welcome, thank you.
I'm not sure everybody could hear that, but we picked colors for the floors. And we like confident as well as the floors in the factory, for example. So that's been resolved, that we've given to the building commissioner.
I'm unmuted now.
What was that you said?
He said he's muted,
I think he's.
he's driving, so he's muted.
He's not muted.
Yeah, maybe you said he's unmuted now.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
So I'm unmuted now. Is Ann on the call on the meeting?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, we need to call to order the meeting of the trustees.
I did.
Oh, you did?
3:11.
I did, and you
Oh,
said your
thank you.
name. And you
Thank
said
you.
your
Okay.
name is present.
Oh, that's what you were doing. Okay, thank you. All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna, when do we need,
You driving from Woodstock?
do you want to take a vote? Do we need to, when the trustees need to take a vote, you'll need to be patient. Because I may not be able to unmute. I was stuck in traffic, so I was able to do it. I'm gonna mute again so you don't hear all this car noise, okay?
I'm not sure what you're asking for,
He said
Ron.
he's gonna mute again until we need him.
But he wants
He was
to know if
asking
we
something
wanted,
before
needed to
that.
take a vote.
When you take a vote, he'll.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Gotcha.
thank you, Ron. Okay.
Thank you for interpreting.
Update regarding project work streams, building infrastructure. You got that?
Yes, sure. Yes, I have a couple of things. Let me look at the agenda so I don't get out of. He gets angry when we talk about other things.
Yep.
Just keep that and I'll use my phone.
All right, so, thank you. No, I'm good.
Okay.
So as far as the infrastructure is concerned, the HVAC is ongoing. They're actually slightly ahead of schedule. They've been excellent to work with. That's North Star. They're currently our maintenance contractor. We haven't used them for any installations, but they've been wonderful to work with. Everybody we met, I think you met one of the individuals
Sean
today.
Guest.
They've been great. So work has been top notch. And as I said, we're ahead of schedule. So I think things are really coming together. The town electrician has put in the new service panel for the electrical infrastructure for the HVAC. That is complete, and he's currently working on branch circuits. He will not, however, commit to anything else besides that, and we'll get into that further down the list. But we do have a solution. The storefront contractor has been contracted with, that's Somerset Glass. We met on site yesterday to go over the final dimensions and the shop drawings. That, I believe, is being approved today by Granite City Partners. The lead time on that stuff is about 3 weeks, so we should see storefront glazing up probably in about a month. And everything is as we originally discussed. Nothing's changed. Teen room with a door, glazing on the children's room, et cetera, et cetera. So, so from a project perspective, I think we are on time. Right now, I will get more definitive with dates. I am going to UMass Amherst October 5th. And the library will be open before I go away. So I'm thinking sometime around the month of September, you'll be opening the doors to patrons.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think that lines up with exactly the time you wanted to
It
do,
does,
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are we, and I don't know where this is separately, but in terms of the doors, the electric doors,
Yep, that's all Somerset Glass. He's been contracted to do that. So when he does the installation, I didn't mention that, so that's a good point, Jonathan. Installation of the storefront glazing will also include the doors.
so he'll be doing the electrification?
Yes,
Okay, and which doors is he doing?
the two that's serviced by ramps.
Okay. All right, and then on the lavatories, we're just gonna put the lever we agreed, is that
That is
right?
correct.
Okay,
The interior lighting, we finally received a second quote. The second quote for the interior lighting came back less money than the first quote. So GCP is working on getting that over to us for approval. Once we, I thought I'd have it today, but we didn't. So if I see that before the next meeting, I'll make sure that gets out to everyone and if we have to do a special meeting, we may, because that lead time on the lighting is several weeks. But if not, then we can just vote on it at the next meeting, but more than likely we'll have to do a special. The carpentry, for the most part, is done, except for some finish work. Like we discussed, the stairways earlier. Tom Ferry has agreed to do most of that. The project, and I'll get into budgeting in a minute, but the project is also going to include funding we have available will also include the exterior ceiling of the shingles. We're going to paint the AZAC on the ramps. We are going to do some exterior landscape upgrades. Granite City Partners is working on a landscape and parking lot plan right now. So it looks like we're going to have enough funding to do everything. We shouldn't have much outstanding when this project is finished.
So did we ever solve the problem with the parking on the septic that's there?
We have. We still have one more box to check off, but it looks like we'll be able to park over the septic, so that area will be absorbed by asphalt. But in talking with GCP and Mr. Ferry, there's parking right now that faces the adjacent house.
Mhm.
We're going to eliminate that parking, so we don't have any cars parking up against the home and the lights, right? We're going to spread the parking out so that it's on the perimeter of guardrail area, and then up against the sort of in that area of the septic system.
Mhm.
The accessible spaces will be right adjacent to the ramp. And there will be 1 or 2 spaces eliminated by the entrance area to make that area a little bit wider so we don't have any problems with cars ingressing and egressing. The landscape plan will also include a little bit of green space. In particular, GCP felt it was important to narrow the curb cut on the employee parking side, which is the west side of the building. So they're going to enhance the green space around that area. Whereas, it'll be much narrower ingress and egress. So it seems to make sense.
What was the logic behind that then? Making the egress narrow?
We really want to focus on just employee parking on that side. And the way it's wide open right now, I think people will be naturally attracted to park on that side. So we're thinking that plus signage would help get all the patrons to park on the east side of the building.
And that's also a habit that you have to break because people have always parked on that side of the building.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could that green space include an area where there's like a picnic table or something for people to sit out?
It's right near the road, so I would say not in that space, but we can certainly entertain that in
Around-
another
Yeah,
location.
towards the back area, perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed
Is
pretty
that
rocky
something?
back there and
Yeah.
everything, but
Okay, so the exterior modifications are also going to eliminate that fire pit that's back there. So maybe we can put a picnic table in that area.
The fire pit's going?
Yes. Unless the committee has other plans for it.
outdoor lighting, one of the things that we heard when we had our event a few weeks ago here on the 24th, 26th, whichever date now. People asked about outdoor lighting at night in the parking area. And I'm sure they'll ask that again when we do a forum again. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so right now, the exterior lighting was going to be mounted to the building and flood the parking areas. There was no parking lot lighting i.e. pole lighting that was slated. The parking lot just doesn't really render that requirement. There's also, as you know, it's adjacent to the street. There is some street lighting that does give some splash effect into that corner, but what's your hours? Is there that much nighttime venues?
Open till either 6 or 8.
Okay,
And then once daylight savings happens.
even in the winter?
Yeah, either 6 or 8 o'clock, yeah.
Okay,
But there may be some meetings that go longer there, right? Because some of that space, the reading room, for example, can be used by the public.
Right, so we
Maybe-
actually drafted a policy that meetings will not extend past library hours. So if the library closes 6, the meeting can't go on past 6. If it's open till 8, it can't go on past 8.
Okay.
we certainly, obviously, if we feel that the lighting that was provided or is going to be provided isn't adequate, we can certainly readdress it.
I would encourage, because of the close proximity to residential, that this lighting all go on timers so that it shuts off.
That makes sense.
at a certain time, so that you're not living next to a
Brightly,
an
yeah.
aquarium.
Mhm.
So
And any exterior cameras for the parking area?
nothing right now that's been slated, no.
So when we're talking about the exterior lighting, are those light fixtures gonna look historic?
Right now, we're just looking at bronze lighting, bronze colored lighting. We looked, there really is no lighting that has LED technology that looks
Historic?
exactly.
Why don't we just make one then?
I guess the law of supply and demand, right? So,
Mark, do you ever see anything like that in the work that you do that has an historic look to it?
So, modern stuff, we have one historic building, which is, if you are familiar with Rhode Island, it's Chapel View in Cranston. We have a historic church there, but that's the only historic building we work on.
yeah, but these lights with the bronze color and the building itself having that type of earth tone, I don't even think you'll notice. the
They'll blend
lights.
in.
Yeah, I don't even think you'll notice them.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else?
That's it for that.
Anybody have any questions or anything?
For the ramp, the indoor ramp, and Ken and I were, when we were there earlier, I have a question about the indoor ramp. Going up and on the left or the right side, I saw, well, I didn't see, Ken saw that there was an outlet in the wall
Mhm.
going about 2/3 of the way up as you go up and on the left.
Yeah.
Is there a plan for the left or the right wall? Is there a plan to put any shelving there?
No,
That was the question, okay.
No.
I thought
that plug was put there for the cleaning crew,
Okay,
for a vacuum.
Okay,
and Jonathan actually thought it might have been required.
It's
Yeah, I
not
know.
required.
it's not. I didn't-
Commercial projects actually do not require a plug on every wall.
Okay,
Oh, geez.
That plug was put there specifically for the cleaning crew, so they wouldn't have to search for an outlet
okay.
when they
Oh, that
vacuum.
makes
sense.
sense.
That's smart.
Yeah,
And is the board going to go up on that left or right wall as you go up? with
No.
the Board potentially,
No,
or something for children to be able to put pictures?
not that I'm aware of.
I think Lori's planning on using it as she does her photo displays.
Oh,
That's what I-
Yeah, yeah.
How she uses the wall in the hallway there?
Yeah,
that'll hang right on the wall.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But it's not that, your concern was that if it protrudes beyond the
It protruded,
railing, but it's
yeah,
not
beyond the
going, so it's
railing.
gonna
That's what I was
be
concerned, but it's not
pictures
going
of
to,
cats or
right.
whatever.
Yeah, it's like,
Right.
you print it out, you laminate it, you just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's,
And then just as a reminder on the outdoor ramps, the ramp for the, not the main ramp, the other ramp has some sanding done to it. On a
You're talking
couple
about
of areas.
you're talking about the public ramp.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
It has that,
there's a couple spots.
yeah, Mr. Patch, Plan B Construction is gonna come back. He's got a few things to do there, so that's one of them.
Okay, do you need us to mark them or do you just know where they are?
You know where
I
they-
think there's like 3
Yeah.
spots.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you, though.
anything else for Jim? If not, we'll move on to the budget. You got the budget for us?
I do. We're in good shape as far as the budget goes. Special article, there's $230,580.76 remaining from the initial $404,000. We haven't touched the CPC yet, but we will. So that's coming. We got our first invoice. It's on the docket for North Star as far as HVAC goes. So although as of this printing, we haven't touched the 200,000 at the end of this meeting, we will have dipped into that significantly. And there's also the ADA grant remaining. There's almost $11,000 of that. And I, Jonathan and I are getting together probably next week or at some point in the near
very near
future
future. to
and
work
settling
on
down
it.
on how to spend the rest of that down. So we're in good shape as far as the budget goes, and Jim can tell us exactly how good shape we're actually in.
So I took the trek up to GCP. I wanted to sit down with them and go over A to Z, not just for the timeline, which is why I was able to pick a date earlier, but I also want to go over the budget. So with that said, and I'll go down the list. I concur with Mark. Our numbers are the same for the special article funding amount balance. From that, we are going to expend money for the electrical upgrade for the panel, as I alluded to earlier, for the HVAC equipment, the glazing and storefront and door package, the lighting estimate, the flooring and carpeting, the final plumbing, final electric, site and landscaping, which includes a landscape plan. After all those expenditures, we will have $18,400 remaining in that line. So we're in the green, And certainly the numbers that we used here are a little inflated to make sure that we were gonna be okay. So I'm completely confident that we're gonna be able to keep this project on budget based on this calculation. On the CPC grant funding availability, as you know, we've agreed to give back 200,000 to the CPC, which is what the grant amount was. So if you use that as a basis and you minus out from the 323, which is the original amount, the remainder for the HVAC, and we included the change orders because it's not done yet, so we don't know if change orders are actually going to happen or not. The exterior staining, ramp painting, facade is going to come out of those funds. The column installation will come out of the CPC funds. The rear egress will come out of the CPC funds. That's the egress from the program room that needs to be built. The windows repairs, there are several windows throughout that the original glazing is cracked or broken. Those need to be replaced. And the branch circuits for the HVAC, which is all of the runs to the 7 different units, we will have 8,000 remaining in the CPC funds. So we're still in good shape there as well. So it looks like from a budgetary perspective, we are going to come in slightly under budget. We've got a few months to go, but when you come up with this as an estimation, it's always good to be in the green as opposed to the red. We've been saying it all along, but I needed to see it in black and white.
Jim, when you just said the rear egress, which area are you?
That's the emergency exit from the program room.
That's that back exit.
Yes.
And will that be for what, a ramp or
No, that's for stairs.
outside?
Yes.
Okay. That's that room that's upstairs there. Is that right? The back room?
It's the room that's
It's the
off the
program.
stage area, right?
Stage area, okay.
Right.
My only concern for that, because I think that's essentially what we're talking about,
It is.
is, and as Mike, and I know I'm dreading this like what, you know what, because I brought this up before.
Jonathan, I'm not putting any more ramps on this.
Let me
building. I'm not putting any more ramps on this building. It's not happening.
Let me
Let him continue.
let me finish my thought at least, okay? And I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily. I want to be clear about that. My concern is, I've been in a couple of meetings recently with different people from MOD and heard of, which I normally don't hear of, but I've heard of situations recently where older buildings that were redone, not necessarily the same design, but different designs, where when an egress wasn't done with a ramp in a certain area, and then something's happened where they had to evacuate or couldn't evacuate in a couple of different places, people have gotten injured or hurt. Fortunately, no deaths yet, but it's led to issues with towns and residents and being sued. That's the concern that I have about not having a ramp in that area. Now, I'm not necessarily saying we need a ramp in that area. What I do think, regardless of anything, and I'm going to ask this to go to a vote, so that as a committee, we're either with this, for this, or not for this. I would still like to have MOD take a look at it. It's free of charge, doesn't cost any dollars. And if they say we need something there, then I think we're in a good position to ask for a variance because of what we've already done, or even ask for several years to do something so that we can throw it down the road or not. I don't think that we need to do anything right now, but I think that we need to be proactive just in the event anything ever happens, so that we're in a position where we can say we have a variance, or we have 5 years to do this or 7 years to do this, whatever it is. MOD right now, and even the Architectural Access Board, know that towns are really tight for money, and there are more variances being asked and granted than ever before as a result of that. So I don't think that we would have a problem with that. I would, as the ADA coordinator, feel more comfortable if we at least had them come and take a look and then make the recommendation. And even if the recommendation is for a ramp, they can give us a variance for so many years to do it based on our budgetary constraints.
We already took a vote on this, Mr. Chairman.
But
We've already talked
Did
about
we
this.
take a vote
Yes, we did.
that did not go to MOD?
That's correct. That's
I
correct.
don't remember if we took a vote or
This
not.
building already has
2 ramps.
2 ramps, one more than the code requires. As long as I'm involved with this project, there will not be a 3rd ramp on this building. Now, that said, there is no variance to go for. The state building code, the Architectural Access Board have jurisdiction over this building. We have exceeded the code requirements for both of those things. There's no variance required.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I would rather hear that from the AAB.
You're hearing it from me. I'm the one who enforces the AAB.
I'm leaving it to the, I'm just sharing what I feel. I'm leaving it up to the committee to decide if you want to vote on it or not vote it.
I believe we already had this discussion and then we said
I
no.
know we had the discussion and I know the consensus was no. I'm not sure we took a vote on it, but we can check our records for the next
It's
meeting.
my recollection a motion was made but not seconded.
I think we ought to resolve it.
Mhm.
Before we entertain a motion, I also don't feel we need a third ramp.
Right.
And what Jonathan said, there was a lot of ifs. If they even tell us that we have to have it, they may give us a variance. What happens if they don't give us a variance? I think we're pretty well covered. We went with 2 ramps. I disagree with Jim, that if the committee says we're having a third ramp, he has, to, as building inspector, he has to do it. I don't think that's going to happen, quite frankly.
Okay.
But I've stated my position in the past. I've stated my position to Jonathan. I think just by putting that second ramp, we went more than what we really had to do. And we've talked to the situation, if there is something that happens in the program room, I think that's what we're talking about. People will help that persons out. I think we're well prepared. We have a ramp that goes to the back of the building. We have a ramp that goes to the front of the building. I think we're pretty well covered.
And,
But
and the trustees would devise an evacuation plan in case of, emergencies for that building.
Ron has,
Yes.
yes,
Ron
Ryan.
has a comment.
So, yeah, 2 things. What Pat just said is that the trustees will develop a plan, policy, what have you. But my comment is that we have the building commissioner on this committee to inform these kinds of decisions. Thank you, Jim, appreciate your comments, and I trust your judgment on this wholeheartedly.
Thank you.
So Jonathan, you want to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we request the Mass Office on Disability, free of charge, to come and inspect the building and determine whether or not we do need a third ramp in the rear of the building. And if they determine that we did, we ask for a variance to not have to put it on now or for years down the road in order to raise the funds.
Is there a second on that motion?
I second the motion.
You can't because you're not a member of the library.
I'm sorry, I'm not on the building committee.
Yeah.
Leave.
No, I'll ask again, is there a second on this motion? If not, I can't call for a vote on the motion.
Okay.
Can't come to a
That's
vote, there's no second.
And I accept that, that's fine.
Yeah. Anything else on the budget? Nope.
I want to say to Mark and Jim, thank you for keeping a close eye on it. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of different funding sources,
Yeah,
but we
You're welcome.
made it work, yeah.
I'm amazed how much we're in the green at this
Well,
point,
we still have a little ways to
No,
go,
no,
but it's a good place to
but
be.
it's green now.
It's a good place to be, yeah.
I do think with everything that's in general going on and the cost of things rising and so forth.
Absolutely.
Honestly, you guys have done a great job to keep
Thank
it.
And, we've all known this, but Ken, as chair, you've really driven this point home. There will be no more additional funds for this project.
I'm not going,
So we had to make this work.
yeah.
Yes.
You're comfortable, I know you attended as well as you attended the CPC meeting. You're comfortable spending the CPC money on the things that
Yes, that's right.
Jim
Yep.
just talked about?
Yep.
Okay.
We also have a couple of other, we're talking about a water fountain that perhaps can be paid through a grant that the Board of Health currently has. And there's some weatherization that wasn't included here that I'm trying to get done through Green Communities. But I'm cautious that, if those don't come through, we do have some funds to get those things done.
This would be a water fountain like the one that's in the
Correct.
hallway here with the bottle filling.
Correct,
Is that with the bubbler or the bottle that goes on it?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and it counts how many water bottles saved, yeah.
It's great.
And it's going to be a sink in the program room. I saw that
Yes,
that
yes.
piece of furniture.
Yes.
Is that where the sink's going to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
When did that cabinetry go in? The kitchen area, when did that go in?
Several weeks ago.
Kind of neat. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, highway department did all that.
Highway Department.
That's
I
awesome.
think that's, they did. It's all roughed in for a sink as well, so.
I can see it's
There is
coming along.
one little spot. Jim, maybe you can check it out or give a thought, but it's as you go right, before you go into the area where the cabinets is, that area
Mhm.
on the floor where they connect, I guess, where the stairs were.
Mhm.
When you touch it with your foot, it seems really, really hollow.
Yeah, so the flooring contract that we will eventually sign includes some work to the existing floors because the carpet installation and tile installation company, they're one and the same, will not put the flooring down on some of the matrix that's there. So there will be some underlayment work that's done that will address all of that.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you. Because that was the only area a couple areas, but that was the one that jumped out at me.
Mhm.
Just, you
So
know,
what happened? They didn't put enough choice in that, because it's a little bit of a bounce that.
No,
Jonathan recognized.
it's where the old, well, there was stairs there, as you
Yes,
know, right? So when the kids built it, the kids built that. They
Yeah.
just didn't put the joist close enough to the edge. But when you sheathe over that with your underlayment, that will go away.
Yeah, okay.
It's not that there's anything structurally wrong
Yeah,
with it,
no,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Grants and fundraising.
So I applied for that grant, the $5,000 grant. We didn't receive it. I'm kind of not surprised. It was a foundation grant. I think Jonathan made this point a few weeks back that everybody's going to be applying for foundation grants. I feel like that was the case, but we're in the green.
Yeah, but if you don't apply,
Exactly right.
You don't apply, you don't
There's no
know.
harm in
Yeah.
applying, so
yeah.
glad I applied. Would have been an extra $5,000, but oh well. We'll apply for the next one.
Yes, on the fundraising committee will be meeting in 3 minutes. So we'll have some information maybe at the next meeting.
Before you move on, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
I'm not sure this is on the agenda. You'll let me know if it's out of order, but I wanted to meet with the contractor for the exterior ceiling. And is it possible for us to get a consensus as to what we want? Pigmented, clear? What do we want to do with the outside? I'm looking to you for your suggestion.
I want it clear so that those age the way that they, just naturally.
Okay,
I don't want any color on it.
okay,
I'm with Pat on that.
okay.
I don't know what the rest of the committee's position is. I want to look as historic as we
Right.
possibly can. I want the shingles preserved.
Right.
They're red
Red
cedar.
cedar,
Yeah,
okay.
so they're
Yeah,
going to be in good shape, but they got to
okay.
also be.
So when I meet with them, I'll just let them know it's transparent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll defer to you on that too, Pat, for reasons.
Okay,
I'm colorblind, sorry.
yeah.
I can't use that as an excuse.
Community updates and information. Before we get to that, I want to say that video was great. I know that the cable company,
Yeah.
cable committee worked on that with you,
Mhm,
but I was impressed with, and letting the public know the
Yeah.
stage that we're at with the
Yeah,
library.
I mean, they approached me about that. I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And, we got it together and they put it together and I cracked some jokes that were just absolutely terrible, that weren't gonna fly. And I said, you can cut that out, right? He said, yeah, we can. So, that's why it wasn't posted a week sooner.
And it was,
But no, I think the video came out really well.
yep, and the meeting was relatively well attended. I was,
Oh, the community forum, yes,
yeah,
yep,
I
yep.
was very happy.
Yep.
And Jonathan and Mark are going to go to primetime next
We
week
are.
Yeah,
with
we're
their
gonna-
breakfast.
yeah, we're gonna have breakfast with
Mhm.
people who can give us their thoughts, and I'm sure they will. I heard it's a pretty large group.
Yes,
Oh, it's a full house.
Jonathan can attend, but Mark can't have the breakfast because he's not 60 or older.
He has to
That's
sit
true.
and watch us eat.
He's gonna be my sighted guide. He's gotta be
Oh,
fed.
there you go. No, so do you want me to let Bella know that you two will attend the breakfast?
Oh, yeah,
also?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
I'll be there. Yep, I'll be
yes.
there for sure.
They're cutting my
Sure.
hair tomorrow, so.
One of the seniors, or?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Maria,
Oh.
she cuts hair
She's very
for
good.
seniors, yes. Cuts my hair, my wife's hair, a lot of other people's hair, a lot of seniors' hair, I should say. Anything else on community updates?
Yeah,
And-
be on the lookout for a Facebook post this weekend showing some before and after shots. Like this is what it looked like in 2023, this is what it looks like now. A post on that will be coming, if it's not up today, it'll be up by the end of the day.
I want to say,
So
all the,
can I, before we run out of time, with the annual town meeting coming up, I'm planning to talk with the trustees about doing an update at the town meeting.
That would be good, I think.
Sounds good.
I think based on today, I think you can say that we should be open to the public sometime in September.
Yep.
I think that would go a long way with the people of the town. Yeah.
They didn't balk at October 1st or in early October, which is what? I think you said sometime in October.
No, I initially said sometime in September.
But at the meeting on the 24th, you used October as
Yes, we did.
you did.
Yep.
Which is always safe.
Yeah. I still think.
Overpromise,
Basically,
under
as soon as
promise.
Jim turns the building over to me, I'm setting a date and I'm keeping that date, so.
I know, you'll be up all night moving books.
When I get back from Amherst, I'm going away for a month, so you will be open in September.
Like, when you say, Mark,
Like it or not.
well, when you say to me, when Jim says to me, Mark, you can start moving books in on blank date, I'm setting an opening date, and that's the date it's gonna be.
Sounds good.
I've been telling people it's gonna be the fall, but it might actually be the summer. Beginning of
You know, it
September.
depends.
I've been saying
It
fall.
could technically be the summer, you're right.
But summer's a hard time to have the library closed.
Well, I think for the purposes of town meeting, I'm just suggesting to Mark, if we say we expect it no later than October 1, then at least there's a date we
Exactly.
can all agree on.
Under promise or over promise, under promise, over deliver. That's it.
I think we're in a good position if we're talking about September versus October, and not like, I don't know,
Yeah,
years.
no.
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot to have this,
Either
have this
way.
granular of a conversation. I think we're in a good spot.
Anything else on community updates and information? If not, let's continue. We have a series of invoices.
We do. So I just want to note A through F will be paid for special article G, the invoice from North Star totaling, I'm sorry, that's a typo. It's $115,500. That, I got to talk to the person who wrote that agenda. He's got to get his act together.
Big difference.
Yeah. That one is coming out of the HVAC grant, and Ron signed that as chair of the trustees, so that will not come out of special audit. That's a trustee vote to spend down from the HVAC grant. So A through F totaling $9,411.21. Like to pay from special article, and the North Star invoice totaling $115,500. I would ask for a separate vote from the trustees to pay that one down.
Do you want the vote now?
We can take the vote in any order that.
Yeah,
There's a way.
I'm here with the mic open, so.
He's ready. He's ready.
Are you ready? I move that we pay the $115,500 from the HVAC grant.
I second.
115. You got 500?
Yeah,
Yep, 115,500.
that was a typo.
A vote, please, Ron?
Ron O'Connor, aye.
And Mike's an aye. Passes.
Thank you.
And they've already voted on the other?
No, the others are building committee vote.
Oh, I thought you said library
9,
trustees.
4, 11, 21.
Right, I'll make a motion to pay $9,411.21.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a roll call vote. Starting with Ron,
Ron O'Connor, aye.
Pat Gales, aye.
Mark Morris, aye.
Mark Rocknick, aye.
Jonathan Gale, aye.
Ken Pacheco, aye.
James Aguirre, aye.
It
I
passes.
think,
Ralph.
aye.
Ralph Latafa.
Okay, our next meeting. Pick a date for our next meeting.
Month from now, mid-June.
Yeah, we're gonna do it a month from now, but like you said, we may have to have a special meeting. Just let me know as soon as possible so I can schedule that.
Okay.
And talk, obviously.
Yeah.
June 12th.
3 o'clock.
At a Thursday.
Mhm.
It is.
Add an event to the calendar.
I think that was the date I graduated from high school, 56 years ago.
How can you remember?
Why would you remember that thing?
It was a big day.
It's 5 years to
I
graduate.
didn't have to work that day.
Oh, that was good. It took you a long time to graduate.
I'll be here.
Who's gonna try to prove him wrong?
Do you want us to change the date since you're not able to attend, or you comfortable with us?
Yeah, that's,
We may have you at a special meeting anyway, so you might get to still have your meeting in June.
I'm pretty sure there'll be a special meeting.
Yeah, just let me know so I can post it.
There's no motion to approve the minutes on this.
Oh, I knew I forgot something, but we'll do it the next one.
I looked at it and I didn't
Okay.
pick up on it. so-
made that other mistake.
Yeah, I gotta have a talk with that.
Yeah.
We gotta get him straightened out.
There's nothing going
He's
on.
gonna be moving a library. Jeez.
Anything else that should be brought up before we adjourn? Now I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call for roll call vote, starting with Ron.
Ron O'Connor, aye.
Pat Gales, aye.
Doris, aye.
Mark Rockett, aye?
John Gillette.
That's okay, John.
Aye. Your aye, John.
Jonathan Gillette.
Campuchico, aye.
James Aguirre, aye.
The motion to adjourn has been approved.
I move that we adjourn the trustees meeting.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote.
Ron O'Connor, aye.
Ann Meiks and I, meeting adjourned at 4:06.
Thank you, everybody.